thing on this Sunday. I feel like this is where we just in the way where we do one episode a week here. It feels like we should be jumping on talking about some of these games for like an hour because they were that good. But I agree, it's great to sort of flex into this week. And it's funny, folks, for people that are watching this, and thanks to everyone for their comments. Like, lads, this is Charlton in the top 20 in Ireland the other day, so it's unreal to see. We really appreciate the support. But for people listening to this, like, these two lads were literally watching as many games as they could, sending the memes in to a WhatsApp group. And boys, I'm sorry I haven't started the whole meme talk yet, but I feel we'll get a segment next week. But let's jump onto this Nebraska Colorado game, because our sponsor 88 with the NFL coverage has got the Buffaloes now. Suddenly, the Buffs are sitting at -3.5 on the handicap spread, and you're looking at a team where, like, Sanders is talking the other day, like, well, Coach Prime's talking the other day about how even players that are in his own locker room didn't believe, and now they suddenly believe, and they're telling they believe. They're saying that tickets are going to be hard to come by in Boulder, which is nuts, which is that is insane for a start. But you got Matt Rule in Nebraska. Like, even from when they came into Dublin to now, they've encountered a lot of change. They lost to Minnesota, I think 13-10, but they had a decent defense performance there, only conceding 13 points. They really missed out on a number of different opportunities offensively. But for Colorado, the atmosphere here on Saturday, 5 o'clock Irish time kickoff, is going to be electric. And I feel like every episode until they lose a game is going to be, let's talk about Coach Prime in Colorado. But if they were to go to Boulder now and win, Dara, on Saturday, it just opens up. I know they've got, I think, is it UCLA and someone else in a row. There's a whole talk here in a bit, but you know what? Throw it out there. How many games are they going to win this season?
Well, that's a tough one I mean, basing it off one game, I mean, the hype train is just, it's off the rails at the minute. I mean, talk about the story of the week one and the story of the season so far. No one had this game circled for week 2, Nebraska and Colorado, considering especially that Nebraska just lost last week to Minnesota. I think that even adds an even more interesting dynamic into this game, as now Nebraska are coming in as underdogs. Now, Nebraska are 2-14 in one-score games over the last 3 seasons, which is an unbelievable stat. They've lost 14 of their last 16 close games. That is whatever the word for clutch is. That is what Nebraska are. They're bottlers, really. You can put it like that. So obviously coming in as 3-point underdogs doesn't exactly play to their favor there. But look, this is a game where I think we do have to temper the Colorado expectations the tiniest bit. Nebraska are still a Big Ten team who are going to play good defense. It's a good defense versus a great offense. So that's really where this game hinges. The other side of the ball, anything can really happen there. So really, really looking forward to this one. As far as a win total goes, my God, the range is just unbelievable at this point. I think you're looking at least 6 wins this season, just based off the beating TCU, and they look great. I don't know what the ceiling is, or even if there's a ceiling in this team.
I love it. And Dar, like, for people listening to this, Dar is obviously a Broncos fan. Like, I'm a Broncos fan as well. So yeah, like, to pick a college team is the Buffs, but I was watching Pitt at the weekend for at least a quarter, Dar, and I'll say no more. It's funny, Dar, because it's funny, Connell. Oh my God.
Yeah, you said Dar before, so I just...
It's happening again. Like, Connell, seriously, man.
Like, face perk up like every single time.
Connell, I'm so sorry, sir. Like, maybe by week 3, well, I don't know. Like, it's just my old age. But Connell, seriously, mate, as a Broncos fan, like, it's ironic that it's minimum $500 to get into Folsom Field on Saturday, and it's cheaper to get into the Broncos home opener against the Raiders on Sunday. What a time to be alive for a football fan in Colorado.
I mean, there was a clip, I think, circulating this week of Travis Hunter and a couple of the Colorado teammates. Like, they had a tour of some place, and the Broncos logo was up somewhere, and they were like, "That's the team I want to play for. That's the team I want to play for." So, maybe if the Broncos keep going like they have the last couple of years and not been great, maybe they will get the chance next season to draft him. But I'd rather us, I guess, be good than have Travis Hunter. But yeah, this is a really interesting game. Like, it's really interesting because you have basically this team who put up a bunch of points but conceded a bunch of points in Colorado this week. But then you have Nebraska, who couldn't do anything offensively, but did still manage to stay in the game because they were good defensively. Now, whether that's because they were good defensively or Minnesota are kind of at their same level defensively is the same kind of argument you could have. But yeah, this would be a game that Matt Rule, I think, will have underwritten on his schedule and be like, look, last week we weren't good enough, but this week, we need to shut up everyone who's talking about this Colorado team and, and then make us the new Colorado and everyone start talking about us. Because, I guess the whole thing with Matt Rule as well is his teams usually, don't have the best first season, but he kind of can't really be afforded that same luxury at Nebraska simply because, it's much bigger than the previous teams he's coached.
Absolutely. And lads, I look forward to getting your names right in the next segment. In terms of the next segment,